What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. Our third edition of Commanders Caucus, our week 3 edition of Commander Caucus. Super excited to have you guys in here today. I think the move might be a little different. Today, coming off the first loss that our Washington Commanders have sustained in the 2025 season. So, as I call this stream, this is a stream that was made by me, but it's for the people. So I don't come in here with a script. We're here because of you. I'm here for you. So, like I've said before, I'm here for you to vent. I'm here for you to cheer about your team. What are we talking about today? But I have a feeling that we're going to have our first edition of Wine About It Wednesdays. I have a feeling that we're going to have our first edition of Wine About It Wednesdays with our Commanders, quite honestly, in my opinion, being outclassed by the Green Bay Packers on last Thursday night. I feel like the game was forever and a day ago at this point. But how are we feeling? Ooh, I'm wilding. I'm going to shout out my girl real quick. She the real MVP because y'all boys was not about to get this stream. I don't know if you can tell, but the stream started at 7:15. The boy was in a deep slumber at 7 p.m. So y'all were not about to get this stream. We had to go with the emergency playbook to go ahead and get this running up in time. But I appreciate you guys joining us for the third edition of Commanders Caucus, the week 3 edition. What's up, Chris? How are you? Like I said, I feel like it's going to be Wine About It Wednesdays, as always, as you can see on the bottom. If you want to go ahead and support the channel, you see our Cash App tag. And don't forget to smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and comment. Flood the chat, because I don't come in here with a script like I do for most of my videos. This is a stream made by Bleeding BNG for the people, though. So let me know how we feeling today. I'm feeling a little somber. Y'all know today, if you in the DMV, it's a great day, and it's kind of matching my mood that I've been having since last Thursday. And it's honestly because I could take a loss. I never expected the Commanders to go 17-0 this season, but it's the fact that how we lost. It's the fact that how we lost and what we going to do to bounce back. Like I said in my game recap analysis, I said that I feel like this was one of the worst loss in recent memory. And I wasn't trying to be hyperbolic. I wasn't trying to be like super emotional or dramatic or in the moment when I said that. But it was more to do with the things that came outside of the loss or came with the loss than the actual loss. Seeing Austin Eckler go down for the entire year, seeing our best, edge setter and best run defender at the defensive edge position in Dietrich Wise go down for the entire year. I think that might possibly be the biggest loss that we had. But even a guy like John Bates, who has started to make a name for himself as a blocking tight end, seeing him go down, I think that, while John Bates is in a season-ending injury, I'm trying to erase that Green Bay game out of my memory. And I don't know another way that I can put it. So we're going to call this 1-0 move, 1-1 move. Vegas, you got to pay. I know some of my subscribers and some of my followers, I know that you guys are degenerate gamblers just like the boy. Y'all just like the boy. The boy is no better than you guys. So I know you guys are some degenerate gamblers just like myself. And I know we done lost a lot of money to Vegas over the course of the year. So guess what? I'm going to need my Commanders to get that shit back in blood. And Vegas, you're going to have to pay. You're going to have to pay for what the fucking Green Bay Packers did to us just under a week ago, because they eviscerated us. Is eviscerated a word? It's going to be a word today. They eviscerated us, and it was a complete outclassing of the NFL. Honestly, I think my biggest thing about the loss that I was taking away is that the assumption, or not even the assumption, because it's a cold hard fact, but the fact that we had the oldest team in the NFL, and then when you hear some of our haters like the Philadelphia Eagle fans and the fans in the division, outside of division, like, Bear fans, because, they love playing or preying on our downfall. I think that the oldest team in the roster, narrative that's been pushed, and, one of the biggest talking points for why we might not be, bouncing back to what we were at reaching the NFC Championship game last year. I think that reared its ugly head. I think while we're an uber talented team, I do think that we're long in the tooth, and I don't think that this is a team that's capable of playing on a short week. I don't think that this is a team that's capable of playing on a short week, and I don't even think it's just the players at hand. This might be a little tongue-in-cheek, but I kind of mean it just a little bit. I kind of mean it just a tad bit. We got a lot to talk about today, Kevin. We do. So y'all go ahead and flood the chat. Let me know what y'all feeling about today. As I said, I think it's Wine About It Wednesday. It's about Wine About It Wednesday. We've been straight kumbaya. We've been down there doing everything short of the rain dance on the first two Commander Caucus streams. But this week 3 edition of Commander Caucus, I think we got a lot to talk about. I don't know if Jayden Daniels is playing. We got outclassed by the Green Bay Packers. I doubt Jayden Daniels is playing, to be 100% honest. But that was my ADHD kicking in, to be 100% honest, because I was talking about these old guys playing on short weeks. But as I was saying, I don't even think it's just the players on the field. I don't think that this is an indictment on Dan Quinn. So when I say this, know that I'm not talking about the entire Dan Quinn era, but I'm just talking about the loss on Thursday night. But I really think that this loss showed me some slight remnants of a Ron Rivera era type loss. When you see them coaching, I'm gonna call it what it is. Call it straight scared. You come to Bleeding BNG for the most raw, uncut, and unfiltered analysis for your Washington Commanders. They coached scared last week, especially going into halftime when you're clearly playing conservative, trying to, keep your defense from going against the Green Bay Packers offense that's capable of, putting up another 3 points in that scenario and things like that, or possibly worse, the touchdown. You go into your halftime with 3 saved timeouts and having a kicker that we know is shaky from over 50 yards. I know that for my 2 days being in Ashburn. So I know Dan Quinn and them seeing him shank a lot of motherfucking kicks over 50 yards. You're going to send him out there for a 58-yarder, saving 3 timeouts because we scared about what the Green Bay Packers are doing or what they might do on the offensive end. That's coaching. That's straight pussyfooting coaching. That's straight pussyfooting at the coaching position. And then the thing is, it don't even work out. You miss the kick. You get a Green Bay Packers the ball at midfield, and then they go drive down the field in a couple of plays to potentially give them another 3 points. Thank God that Brandon McManus was feeling freaky again and missed the kick and was looking out for his former team or his former team that he never played for. But I think that was coaching malpractice. And then I think that Cliff Kingsbury on Sunday at 1 p.m. and Cliff Kingsbury on Thursday night are not the same guy. Cliff Kingsbury, Sunday at 1 p.m., he's Cliffy on Thursday nights. And I've been running with this joke for a minute. Honestly, since the Thursday night loss that we had against the Philadelphia Eagles last season. But I don't know if Cliff don't game plan Monday through Wednesday and he's just straight like on a bender pulling all-nighters, because we know how Cliff like that bachelor life. Like, I don't know if he's just on his straight Cliffy shit and, taking Ubers, because, they talk about how he gets to the facility, how he gets into Ashburn at like 3 in the morning. And, the media and the Commanders, they want us to believe that, Cliff is waking up and coming in all bright-eyed and things like that. I got a hard time believing that he's not taking an Uber straight from U Street straight to Coach Gibbs Drive. I have a hard time believing that with some of these play callings that he has on Thursday night. And let me go ahead and read Jeff, because he got these typos. There we go. My man Jeff. Shout out to that Bowie State Education. BSU, the finest HBCU in the land. We only lost by 9, and that was a bad loss. I think once we start clicking, I think we beat them in a playoff rematch, and you are smarter. Injuries definitely hurt us the most. That's why I said I've seen us lose to the fucking Kansas City Chiefs by 40 points. So as far as the scoreboard goes and things like that, I don't think that this was like a huge loss. I don't necessarily think that once we start clicking that we're going to be competitive. I would like to see that. It would show us like the same storyline that we had going into the playoffs last year after, losing to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers week 1 score last year? Did we lose it by more than 9 points? So to see us come back and beat them in round 1 of the playoffs is promising for, what your aspirations are to be, Jeff. But I think that the Green Bay Packers might just be that damn good, bro. And I think it has more to do with them than us, to be 100% honest. When you see guys like Edgerrin Cooper and Quay Walker at the linebacker position, boxing in Jayden Daniels, looking like goddamn Tasmanian devils at the second level, and then you look and turn, and no shade to him because he's a future Hall of Famer, but I'm going to need Bobby Wagner to start getting fitted for that gold jacket now. I'm going to need Bobby Wagner to start getting fitted for that gold jacket now because he might be better getting alterations at a men's warehouse than he is on a football field at this point. Because Bobby Wagner be stuck in the mud. I know y'all saw when they were covering that same pass where even if it was a safety's missed coverage, he doesn't have the athletic ability anymore to, make up for anybody's mistake. So he's so stuck in the mud and he pointing out. He's so stuck in the mud that he pointing out guys because he's incapable of making that play. Bobby Wagner, if y'all remember, what year was it that Bobby Wagner had the shutdown badge in Madden? He had the shutdown ability in Madden where he wasn't getting shit thrown at him over the middle of the field. Well, whatever badge that was that he had 10 years ago, he got the exact opposite of that badge now because that shit is Christmas. That shit is Highway I-95 against Bobby Wagner. Tight ends about to eat against us this offseason. And then sticking with the linebacker core, who the fuck, y'all know, especially if you support the channel, if you've been following us on X for a while, y'all know I've been questioning where's the real Fergie Louvu? And whoever did something with the real Frankie Louvu, please return him because this ain't him. This ain't the Oos that I've known to love. Want to see how Cliff does the run game without Bates. I honestly think that's why he got away from the run game on Thursday night. While I think that Dietrich, I see a lot of people talk about how huge of the loss that Austin Ekeler is going to be. I agree 100% just because of what he does as a receiving back. But if you can look at that game Thursday night and see Austin Ekeler's touches and Bill's touches, you see that this ain't the Austin Ekeler from 2021, right? This ain't the Austin Ekeler from 2022. He clearly doesn't have that explosion and that top end speed that he once had. So while he is going to be a valuable piece in replacing or trying to replace, I think that he might be third on the totem pole as far as big as the loss is going to affecting this team for the rest of the year. I'll argue that Dietrich Wise is number one because he was our best run setting defender. We saw that shit was if Bobby Wagner in the open field against tight ends is Highway I-95, that shit was the Beltway. The Beltway's always packed. I don't have a metaphor right now. But that shit was Christmas on the edge once Dietrich Wise came out. So I think that might be a huge loss. But I think John Bates you could argue John Bates might be one, but I'll put him at two, even more essential of a loss than Austin Ekeler. Now, he's not a guy that's going to be missing the entire season like the previous two names that I mentioned. But I think that our run scheme I think John Bates might be the most important player to our entire run scheme. If y'all seen when our scheme hits and when our run game hits, it's such an intricate scheme where we like running triple traps and things like that. So, reverse counters, we pulling linemen, on that play that Debo had with the ghost motion in that week 1 game with the 19-yard touchdown against the New York Giants. Luke McCaffrey was sealing all the defensive end. They started to pull, Brandon Coleman and Laramie Tunsil. And while that might seem like a simple scheme, that joint has to be executed to a T when you got big fat boys in space, when you got big linemen in space. And I think that our run game is essential to that because I think our run game is essential or our run game's lifeline is on whether the edge is held up. And who is on that edge? Tight ends. That's why I think we gave John Bates the amount of money that we did, paying him like a 6 offensive lineman, and he got the same amount of catches and yards as me this year. I fully understand. That's not a shock to John Bates at all. It's the truth, though. It's the truth. Y'all go look it up. Me and John Bates got the same amount of yards and catches. But he clearly has a role in his team, and it's a super important role. I'll argue that he's more important to the offense than some of your favorite players. And no, I'm not talking about Mr. Invisible Man, the $30 million man. But other players, y'all know who I'm talking about. But, Shout out to my man YouTube reposting the stream on X. I appreciate it. My aspiration is at least the playoffs. If not, I'll be okay. Toughest schedule this season. Bruh, me too. And going into the season, yeah, I talked Super Bowl. I talked about how I was fully capable. I think we were fully capable of doing everything that we wanted to with the Burgundy and Golden Boy right there. Right there. The Burgundy and Golden Boy, even if he's coming off of his worst game of his career, in my opinion, I think that we're fully capable of doing everything that we want to do when he's at the helm, even though he might not be at the helm this weekend against the Las Vegas Raiders. I'll be a fool if I didn't say that if this season, or I didn't allow the room for me to think about or go through the thought process that if this season does go to shits, it's eerily similar to the schedule that we had in the 2021 season after squeaking out the most Mickey Mouse bubble division championship in 2020. I don't know if we had a first place or a second. We had a first place schedule that next year in 2021. That was my first year season ticket holder. And I'll always remember that as me seeing some of the best quarterback play I ever saw in my life. Motherfucking Justin Herbert week 1 in 2021 looked like prime Dan Marino. I saw Patrick Mahomes had fucking Tim Settle doing the spinneroni on the field and then throw the most accurate pass. I was on my straight Adrian Peterson shit. I was like, y'all got to see the pass that I'm talking about. If y'all go back and look at the Washington football team at the time and the Kansas City Chiefs, he hit a pass with Miko Harmon on the sideline. When that shit basically Velcro to Miko Harmon's fucking shoulder pad. And Miko Harmon got fucking brick hands. He couldn't help but to catch that pass. It was such a motherfucking damn good pass. And I was my first year as a season ticket holder. I was on my, like I said, I was on my Adrian Peterson shit. When I saw him throw that ball, I was like, oh, shit is different. And then, you know, even going into that year, while he didn't have the best game, you know, Russell Wilson was still somewhat moonball Russ, still with his years at the Seattle Seahawks. I think that we were one of the first teams to start really start to stifle him late in that 2021 season. But I just remember seeing some amazing quarterback play that year. Did we play? I think we played the Green Bay Packers that year with a quasi-prime Aaron Rodgers coming off of an MVP season. So I think I agree with you, Jeff. This schedule is super tough. So while I do think that we still can make the playoffs, and I do think that we still will make the playoffs, I'll be a fool if I didn't allow my thought process to say, like, damn, we do go through a gauntlet of offenses and quarterbacks this year. And if we don't, I think that's going to be the biggest reason why. On top of us having one of the oldest rosters in the best HBCU is South Carolina State. I'm here in Redskins territory in South Carolina. I like the second part of that statement. I love the second part of that statement. Shout out to you holding it down in Redskin territory in South Carolina. I know that we made our mark in the Carolinas a long time ago. The Panthers still mad that we got half of their fan base. But the best HBCU, South Carolina. We ain't about to get in the HBCU debate. I'm gonna just hold down that black and gold. I'm gonna just hold down that black and gold till I'm cold. You feel me? The torch of truth, the flame of faith. Oh, Bowie State. That's about all of the song that I know. So we ain't even about to get into that. You probably got more pride. You ain't got more pride, but you probably care about that fight song a little more than I did. Bobby was stuck in the mud in week 1, and people tried to come. Bobby and Frankie been stuck in the mud since preseason. They ain't been out the mud yet. I need somebody in the chat. Let me know what the fuck one of y'all did with Frankie Louvu. I need the real Frankie Louvu to stand up. The real Frankie Louvu might be in here watching the chat right now. I know he's seen our reaction video go crazy. When I ain't gonna lie. The shit funny as hell. The shit is funny as hell. I don't know if y'all seen it on social media. Eagle fans been calling him Frankie Doodoo for the last couple of days. And I ain't really had nothing to say. I can't be over there debating that nickname when just the day before I got tweets questioning if he got zapped by the Monstars. Frankie Louvu look like Frankie Doodoo right now. Like, it's bad. It's bad. That's not the ooze that I know. That is not the ooze that I know. Louvu got his power snap. Bro. Cam, where's the real Frankie Louvu? I think we need to go ahead and pay for an ad, put him on the side of the milk carton like they used to do in the 60s and the 70s, because he's definitely missing. I'm having people talking about how harsh I was. Frankie Louisville's tackling attempts was harsh. Y'all go back and look at the Thursday night game. It was literally a play where Tucker Kraft caught a ball in the flats, and he had like 4 dudes on him, right? And one of those dudes was 2024 second team All-Pro linebacker Frankie Louisville. And y'all let me know who was the dude to fall while Tucker Kraft was still running through our defensive face like prime Mike Dick in that bitch, bro. It was Frankie Louisville. He was holding on with the rest of his compadres and fell off. I ain't got no legs no more. I just used all my legs trying to defend the touch push last year. I ain't say Frankie Louisville make a play since the touch push. And I thought that he was on some nut shit then. Thinking he was Michael Jordan and shit, bro. You not young. Frankie Louisville was like 28 at the time. Over there trying like dunk the touch push. Like, ain't had his legs been shot since. Legs been shot since. And what the fuck is Lattimore doing? They are treating him like a rookie. Bro, Lattimore ain't found his hamstring yet. I think that shit still might be on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. I can't believe that I let a couple of good reps against Malik Neighbors when he got Russell Wilson as his quarterback. It sounds crazy to say after Moonball Russ went crazy against that Dallas Cowboys secondary. But I honestly think that I could throw for like 223 yards against the Dallas Cowboys secondary, right? So I would look at Russell Wilson's 450 yards, super impressive. Keep in mind he needed an entire overtime to do that. But I'm going back to Marshawn Lattimore. I can't believe I let a couple of good reps against Malik Neighbors with fucking Russell Wilson as his quarterback. Fool me. And I know the Marshawn Lattimore defenders are going to come in here, and let me go ahead and get out in front of it now because y'all know we really know ball over here at Bleeding B&G. That scheme that we had, that defensive scheme that Joe Witt trotted out there on Thursday night, I've already talked about Cliff being on his Cliffy shit. He had to be coming off of a bender straight Monday through Wednesday and didn't have time to game plan for plays. Joe Witt and Dan Quinn, they get raped by Matt LaFleur every single time. I think Matt LaFleur is 5-0 against Dan Quinn's defenses. And yeah, I know Joe Witt has the title now, but if you don't think they're running intricacies and remnants of Dan Quinn's defense at the time, that he was the defensive coordinator of, the Dallas Cowboys when the Green Bay Packers put up a half of 100 on his head and put Dan Quinn out of a job. I think we forget that sometimes because we've had such a fairy tale, run with Dan Quinn. I think we forget that it was the Green Bay Packers and Matt LaFleur that had him dressing like a fucking Blues brother getting interviewed in Dallas. Getting interviewed out of Dallas. Just like a Blues brother walking through Dallas. That was Matt LaFleur that packed them up. No pun intended. And they see them still running that same man-to-man match coverage cover one scheme against this defense. Against this offense that clearly has your number. They're killing you with the runoff routes. You're running these cover ones. You're running these match coverages. Your second and third defenders on the second and third level aren't passing off guys. It makes Marshawn Lattimore look worse than what he is. So that was the ball knowing segment of the stream. So y'all go ahead, give me a golf clap. Now let's get to the trolling. Yeah, it does make Marshawn Lattimore look like worse than what he is, but Marshawn Lattimore is some shit now, bro. Marshawn Lattimore is some shit, and I think that I can firmly say that Adam Peters might have got finessed at the trade deadline. We gave up a second and a fourth or a second and a third round pick for Marshawn Lattimore, hoping that we got the New Orleans Saint Marshawn Lattimore. And to be 100% honest, the New Orleans Saint Marshawn Lattimore ain't been here since like 2022, bro. And yeah, I love the trade at the time because I thought that, we were big game hunting and we were attacking success because trotting out Benjamin St. Juste and Emmanuel Forbes every other week wasn't it at all. That shit wasn't it at all. So I loved the trade at the time, but I don't know if I want to say that it's a loss because when you were trotting out, I don't even think it's arguable. I really don't think it's arguable. The NFL been around for what, like 106, 107 years now. I truly believe that week 1 last season against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, when we trotted out Benjamin St. Juste and Emmanuel Forbes as our starting quarterback duo, I honestly believe that's the worst starting quarterback duo in NFL history. So you got to pay to play, right? You got to pay to play. So you had to give up something for Marshawn Lattimore just because of what he was in New Orleans. But we not seeing New Orleans Marshawn Lattimore ever again, bro. The Monstars got him with Frankie Louvu. I just got a little bit of hope in Frankie Louvu restoring it because he hasn't had all the major injuries that Marshawn Lattimore has. Because Marshawn Lattimore has not found his hamstring. Bro had an entire offseason. He missed the first couple of weeks of minicamp. I thought that he was looking for his hamstring. That's why I gave him a pass to do it. But like now it's like, what we doing? What we doing at this point? How you feel about Preston coming back? Preston Smith, blast from the past. I don't know how to feel about Preston Smith coming back, to be 100% honest. Because y'all know I watched the entire landscape of the league. And I know that fucking hellified defense that we just went against with the Green Bay Packers, I know that they traded, or was it trade or cut? I know they didn't want Preston Smith a part of their defense anymore last season because he didn't want to play with his hand in the dirt. And if he's the Dietrich Wise replacement, sorry to break it to you, Preston, you're going to be playing with your hand in the dirt, my boy. So I know with him being out of a job over the course of the offseason and the first 2 weeks of the season, he might, be willing to just do whatever it takes to stay in the league at this point and stick with his league. But I do love the feel-good story of him potentially finishing out his career where it first started. I don't know how much he has left in the tank, but that's the thing, right? The skill set, the niche skill set that we need as a supreme run defender, you don't have to have a lot of juice left in the tank for that. To be 100% honest, I know we know of something. Y'all know. Let's be real niggas in the chat right now. Y'all know what I mean when I talk about dad strength and grown man strength, right? And that's honestly, yeah, you need a little agility to hold up on the edge. But bro, I just need you to put them motherfucking ham hock fist into a shoulder pad plate and drive it back. That's all I need. I ain't even asking for sacks. But I can't see another team run back-to-back end-around, wide receiver end-arounds, back-to-back. Like we playing high school football because they know that it's sweet on the edge. I can't see that anymore. So hopefully Preston Smith gives us something in that. And if he gives us anything more than that, if he gives us any type of sack numbers, it's a plus in my book. Because it ain't like I had Dietrich Wise written down for a whole bunch of sacks either. If Jayden plays, then I want Wiley or Fant starting at right tackle. I don't trust Connolly. Send it double teaming versus Max Crosby. I don't even know how to feel about this because it sounds crazy calling on Andrew Wiley because I've seen Andrew Wiley get eviscerated by some of the league's best as well. And I do want to be patient, right? Because Josh Connolly is a rookie. But you got to fight back, bro. You a first-round draft pick. You can't get dog walk for 4 quarters. You can't be getting chip help. And I know some of them chip attempts from Jeremy McNichols was bullshit. And got some of the people in the fan page, myself included, that want to be look like Supreme Balno was making it seem like it was okay and it was understanding and it was normal for them to keep Jeremy McNichols over Brian Robinson due to his pass blocking ability. Well, where the fuck was that pass blocking ability on Thursday night, Jeremy McNichols? So I mean, I don't know. I do think that Max Crosby, I do think that there's a chance if we don't scheme right like we didn't against Micah Parsons, I do think that there's a chance that Max Crosby can penetrate us like he was doing on live TV the other day. I don't know what the hell that stretch routine was. I think he knew the cameras was on him, and Max Crosby's a fucking Max Crosby. No, I ain't even gonna go there. Y'all know how Max Crosby's pass is. So to see him dry hump in the air and on Monday Night Football, I wasn't necessarily surprised because he's a fucking nut. He's a fucking menace, right? And I really don't want that to go against Josh Connolly. And we don't, and it looks like we're going into the game without John Bates. So I feel you on the Connolly and Senate. I don't really love that double team chip help because the narrative around Ben Sinnott has totally changed. I don't know who in the Commanders PR. Ben Sinnott got one of the best PR marketing teams of all time. Just listen, because y'all know we listen with a keen ear over here at Bleed the BNG. So many people in the media now, because he's not producing, are trying to act like the vision for Ben Sinnott was something that totally different of what, Adam Peters told us that he was when he was drafted with that second overall pick. I heard Donna Hopkins of Bowie TV and JP Finley spew the same narrative. That's all like, oh no, somebody definitely got in y'all ear because first of all, y'all are not telling the truth. This is not the truth. And it's completely like both of y'all are spewing out the same narrative. People are saying that Ben Sinnott was a finesse tight end coming out of Kansas State when we drafted him, and that's why he can't be the one-to-one placement for John Bates. Fuck out of here, bro. Fuck out of here, bro. Stop. That's a lie. That's a full-face lie. And I'm not attacking any media member or anybody that spewed that narrative, but it's just simply not true. And like I said, it ain't y'all. I know somebody in the Commanders PR has gotten to y'all because they've seen people question that pick, question Adam Peters' pick of him and Luke McCaffrey. But y'all trying to tell me that motherfucking Ben Sinnott was a Jordan Reed type prospect coming out of Kansas State? Stop it. Adam Peters in his first press conference after drafting Ben Sinnott compared him to George Kittle and Kyle Juszczyk. Both guys who are plus blockers at their positions. But y'all want me to believe that he was a downfield finesse tight end coming out? Stop. We not about to lie to justify draft credibility or to justify draft selections. We not doing that. Over under how many kickers you think this year? If the over under is set at 2.5, bro, just being a Washington fan and to play it safe, I'm gonna take the over, bro. I'm gonna take the over. When the last time we went through a season where we didn't have more than 2.5 kickers? When we didn't have at least 3 kickers? Yanko might take Senate staff. I've been saying people talk about that too. Where y'all seeing that at? Because while I'm not necessarily doubting it, like I've seen this narrative pushed out too. I'm just trying to figure out where it came from. Damn, I am late. Hold on, I gotta go back to what Cam said. Cam said that Ian Rappaport said that Jayden's not playing. So you already know we got to go ahead and Cam, shout out to you. I hope you're telling me the truth, but we got to go ahead and fact check you real quick, my boy. So we about to go ahead and pull up the X. You know, we like to call it by his biological daddy. We about to pull up Twitter. And as y'all know, we get that dial up internet speed whenever we're on StreamYard. Y'all got to holler at me, bro. I pay too much money for y'all to be giving me this Boost Mobile ass Wi-Fi. Like, we got to stop this cricket ass Wi-Fi. But as soon as I pull it up on the screen, just know y'all will see it here first as well. Rap sheet. Because if he done said it and he done pushed it out, I don't know if he said it after the stream started. I know the stream started. We what 35 minutes into the stream? Shout out to y'all holding us down. If he said it before the stream started, y'all know he done already tweeted about it. So let me go ahead. So he tweeted a minute ago. All right, so I'm not going to play the entire video. I'm not going to play any of the video because I want this stream to get monetized, to be 100% honest. So I don't know exactly what Rap said. We're not going to pull it up. But Cam came in the stream, came in the chat. Y'all know this is a stream by Bleeding BNG for the chat. So he did exactly what he was supposed to do to push the stream forward. And he said that Ian Rappaport said that Jayden not playing. While I, linked that way, I hadn't heard anything confirmed. But I do see a tweet from Ian Rappaport on his page. Let me go ahead and pull it up so y'all can see it as well. Shout out to my guy, Cam, with the scoop. Don't know what I'd do without you, my boy. Let me go ahead and pull it up for you guys. Give me some time. This Boost Mobile ass Wi-Fi. I pay for the business speed, so I don't know what they're doing. I pay so much money, you would have thought I had 6G. So I don't know what the fuck they doing, but we're gonna be patient. But there it is. Ian Rappaport. I'm just gonna read the caption. He said that the Commanders have QB questions, and if there's any question by Friday, expect them to err on the side of caution with Jayden Daniels. Dan Quinn in his press conference today said he's definitely going to need to see Jayden Daniels practice on Friday. And I'm letting y'all know now, so y'all can start listening with the keen ears. And I want y'all to laugh when y'all come to a Bleeding BNG stream. I want you to learn a little more about football every time you come to a Bleeding BNG stream. Ian Rappaport knows something. Ian Rappaport definitely knows something. If you paid attention to the Josh Harris era, when the Josh Harris era has started, Ian Rappaport and Jordan Schultz, I believe, have gotten the most information first coming out of Ashburn. And for Rap, while he can't say anything set in stone, he's already talking about the Commanders erring on the side of caution on Wednesday. He knows something. He knows that I ain't saying that it's 100% that Jayden not going to practice, but he know that the front office and the organization is leaning towards Jayden Daniels not taking the field on Sunday. And if that's the case, y'all holler at me because the boy might be selling his tickets. It's like, no, I'm about to go ahead and feel like I might have to shadow box. I feel like I might have to throw some hands. Y'all know how they get crazy in the black hole, even when they team some shit. That's how you know they crazy. Vegas fans be hyped when they team ass every single year. Man, George, better late than never, George. Better late than never, George. You know, you one of the day one supporters, so you can never be late because you found Bleeding B&G right on time. Shout out to you, though, George. I appreciate you tapping in for week 3 of Commanders Caucus. As always, if you haven't checked, y'all see the ticker on the bottom. Go ahead, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, flood the chat. That's the only way that we're going to stay on this stream. And I'll be remiss if I didn't mention. That super chats take precedent. You send in a super chat, I'm reading your comment instantly. You send in a super chat, I'm reading your comment right now. So even if you just got in here, you go ahead and send in a super chat. Not only are you supporting the channel, but you supporting your voice getting out there as well, because you're getting pushed up to the top for sure. Here's hoping that when camp comes around next year, we won't do the same shit we did this year. Oh, yeah, you talking about Club DQ? You talking about Club DQ? Hey, George, because I know you pay attention to most of my videos. Let them know. While, you know, it was one of the more tongue-in-cheek and more caution takes from Bleeding B&G, I was questioning the length of those practices for the 2 days that I was at Ashburn. And that's not hindsight. That's not me being Mr. 2020. I was talking about it at the time, me being boots on the ground at Ashburn. I was like, bro, these practices like 45 minutes, bro. What the hell is going on? But, you know, it was the same thing last year. It got us to the NFC Championship game. So I ain't harp on it too much because it looked like it might have worked. Well, this year, over the course of the first 2 games, it looked like it might be the exact opposite. With a real, bro, I'm telling you, I don't know what. I don't want to see another Frank. You know how I know? Nah, back. You know how I know that we ain't got the real Frankie Louvu and we got an imposter dressed up in forward burgundy and gold that's dressed up in a Frankie Louvu uniform? You want to know how I know? We ain't seen that fucking haka dance yet. We ain't seen that yet. And I'm not trying to mock y'all, but for the people that don't know the haka, y'all know Frankie Louvu was doing that every fucking game last year. He was doing a haka dance when we was losing. We ain't see it against the New York Giants. We ain't see it against the Green Bay Packers. That's how I know we ain't got the real Frankie Louvu. On top of him getting his face ran in by Josh Jacobs. So whoever finds the real, what up, Dubs? Whoever finds the real Frankie Louvu, please return her. That's all I'm asking. If you got a ransom, holler at me. We might be able to work out something. But that guy wearing number 4 in burgundy and gold right now, that ain't the Frankie. That ain't the oops that I know. They started playing Good Morning Football on Overtime TV here last year. I've been a regular watching 2 times, a QB, 1 angry. Bro, don't even bring it up. Trey Amos is the best cornerback on his roster right now. But how many weeks is he going to get his face ran in? Trey Amos not going to be the best cornerback on his roster if he got CTE, bro. Now, last week, Cam Scatterball, I was like, I get it. Scatterboo, I was like, I get it. Jordan Love, bro? Jordan Love? Nah, Trey. Nah, chill. We ain't doing that, chill. Jordan Love? Nah, we ain't doing that. We not Jordan Love. We got Jordan Love looking like Jared Lorenzen. We got Jordan Love looking like Tim Tebow at Florida. We got Jordan Love looking like 2015 Cam Newton. Any big ass quarterback, power running ass quarterback, that's what Jordan Love looked like when he was running through Trey Amos's face, bro. That's what Jordan Love not even like that as a runner. Y'all know we was shading Jordan Love last week talking about his levels at the quarterback position. Back again. Like I said, when I was watching that quarterback play, when I was boosting the ground at FedEx Field at the time, Some of the throws Jordan Love made on Thursday night, I was back on my Adrian Peterson shit. When I saw him throw that ball, like that pass that ended up being, I think it was a false start or something that ended up not being a touchdown that Jayden Reed caught and got hurt on. Yeah, Quan Martin misplayed the ball, and he had me looking like a fucking fool for projecting that he was going to be a Pro Bowler this year on that one play. That throw was fucking crazy. That throw was nuts, bruh. That throw was nuts. Lattimore going down the ladder, but the thing is, I wouldn't mind him going down the ladder and seeing a guy like Trey Amos potentially shadow number one cornerback, because I'm super excited. I know it don't come to the end of the year. I'm super excited to see what Trey Amos does or has for A.J. Brown. Because I think A.J. Brown might be a little washed. I told y'all he spent all offseason lifting weights like fucking Ronnie Coleman, and now he's running routes like fucking Ronnie Coleman. But I think that A.J. Brown is the type of wide receivers that Trey Amos was bought in for. But the thing is, when you got Jonathan Jones going on IR, Marshawn Lattimore can't go too far down the hamstring. Because while I love Mikey Sanders still, with some of his athletic limitations as well as his size, he's a great player. But some of it feels a little engine that could-ish sometimes. And then when you see him being the worst ranked player on that defense in the game where everybody on that defense was some shit, that's when you start to question like the athletic limitations that he has. Y'all know I don't like saying I told you so. Who am I kidding? Yes, I do. I don't like running a whole bunch of victory laps when it doesn't help benefit the team and things like that. But y'all know I was saying it last year. I thought Mikey Sanders still was better on the boundary just simply due to his instincts. One of the biggest reasons Mikey Sanders still was good on the boundary last year is because he's smart enough to use that sideline as an extra defender, because he knows he has those athletic limitations. Like Mikey Sanders still is 5'9", 160 pounds soaking wet and runs close to a 4.6. When you listen to those measurables just off the top of the head, that don't scream elite corner. It doesn't. Now, some of his agility numbers, his quickness numbers, his short shuttle time were elite. But when you have those type of athletic limitations and you're going against some of these freak-ass wide receivers, you're going to have rough nights, especially in the slot position when you got three-way goes, when you could go any which way. You could go left, right, or deep. When you got so much space in the middle of the field at the slot receiver position. So if you guys are ever curious, if you got spit it out, Jamie. God damn. If you're ever curious as to why Mikey Sanders is struggling in the slot, it's due to them athletic limitations. Y'all see all these runoff routes, all these runaway routes that the Green Bay Packers were running last week. Those are the worst type of routes to run against Mikey Sanders still, because he's going to eventually stop losing ground due to the fact that he got little ass legs and he don't have elite top end speed. But I get wanting him at the slot corner position due to his instincts, his ability to fill in the run gap. I said it last week against the New York Giants. While I'm harping on his size now as a negative, Mikey Sanders still has no business being as good as a tackler as he is. So there are positives to Mikey Sanders still not some shit. Like, he not some shit. Why Jordan Love give Amos? Bro. I thought Trey Amos might have been out for the season after he went out. Jordan Love put that man out of the game. I ain't gonna say out for the game because he did return. Trey had to come out the game after that. Yeah, this is the NFL. Everybody get paid. These are the most elite of elite athletes. But I know some of y'all be chasing past glory. I know some of y'all are former high school football players. Some of y'all might have even played college football. Bruh, think about when you were playing high school football. If you got ran over by a quarterback and had to come out of the game because of it, they was clowning you for the rest of the week, bruh. You better sit on the back of the bus on the way home. You better put on the best headphones possible because they frying your ass up, win or loss. And sometimes I think we get too caught up in the NFL. It's like, nah, bro, my cornerback, my defender has to make that play on Jordan Love. We like, nah. I mean, it happens. It's the NFL. No. I said the same thing when Bobby Wagner got ran through by Baker Mayfield last year. Bobby Wagner's going to be getting a gold jacket in about 5 years. And I hope it's 5 years because I hope he hang it up after this year. But I've seen Baker Mayfield get tackled by Paul Blart Mall right? I've seen Baker Mayfield not run away from Paul Blart. If you know, you know. Paul Blart took down Baker Mayfield better in the open field than Bobby Wagner. Maybe we need to go sign him in a Washington linebacker court. He might give me better effort in the hole than Frankie Louisville did against Josh Jacobs last week. So, yeah, it's the NFL and players get paid too. No, I need my Hall of Fame middle linebacker to tackle Baker Mayfield in the open field on third down. I'm sorry. Hot seat Joe Witt, all eyes on his defense moving forward. I think Joe Witt's safe for at least a year. So if you're saying his hot seat is going into next year, I agree. I agree if the defense stays like this. I agree. BSJ was some shit, bro. I try to erase him and Gumby out my memory. Connerly was okay until John Bates went out. Then he was full. Exactly. You know, I said John Bates has the same amount of catches and yards as me, but he's so important to this offense. Whenever John Bates is not available, expect this offense to not be performing at its highest potential. The way his M-line blocking is, how he is as a move blocker. Cliff Kingsbury's entire run scheme is based around John Bates. Now, I don't know if that's a great idea because even Laramie Tunsil, who didn't have his best game, Laramie Tunsil ain't the best run defender. The reason that he's been all-pro, he's made, Pro Bowls and things of that nature, is because he used to be a demigod in the passing game. And even if he lost a step, we got to remember he was going against Micah fucking Parsons, who's built like the fucking and one man. Micah Parsons built like Clark Kent, bro. Shit make no sense. But yeah, I think John Bates might. I was getting to Laramie Tunsil because I think John Bates might be more important to the run game than even him. So when he goes out, that whole blocking scheme, chipping edge defenders, running the ball goes to shit. And I'm not saying that it should be like that. That's just what it is. We don't have a one-on-one replacement. Shout out, I appreciate you, Cam. I appreciate you. We don't have a one-on-one replacement for John Bates. Shout out to you, Jaylen, holding shit down for the true ball knowers. We got to hold shit down for the true ball knowers. And we got to hold shit down for even the casuals. Because like I've said, since I started this podcast in 2021, I want you to come laugh when you watch my episodes. That's why I push to give you the most raw, uncut, and unfiltered analysis on your Washington Commanders. Because I also want you to learn the game as well. Marcus Mariota, revenge game loaded. Marcus Mariota might get back-to-back revenge games. I think he might care about the Atlanta Falcons revenge game in week 4 more than the Oakland Raiders revenge game, if I'm being 100% honest, if he does end up playing in week 4. Y'all know they was throwing dirt on his name in Atlanta. Y'all know reserve Mariota that was turning gray at 27 years old. He usually cooling, sitting back in his rocker. Marcus Mariota acts way older than what he is. Marcus Mariota like 32, y'all. Bro act like he's 44. Y'all know that this is if it's anybody that's going to get him out of his ukulele, what they call that shit? Ukulele? What that? Y'all know the flower shit that the Hawaiians wear. If it's anybody getting riled up, I know Hawaiians are usually rather chill. It's the Atlanta Falcons for sure. Raheem Morris. No, I don't even think Raheem Morris was there. But it's the Atlanta Falcons. Arthur Blank. He was there. I know that for a fact. Nigga been there all my life. And my father's life. And my grandfather's life. Damn right you were. But for me, it's playing starters in games. That BS has to stop. 2 years in a row, the first 2 games has been crap. Not playing starters in preseason game, right, George? Absolutely. I agree. But, George, I had to, sometimes they swear I'll be capping when I don't go back and pull up videos from 6 months ago where I said some shit where I can't remember exactly where I said it. That's why I need you, George. Day one supporter. George, no, I was talking about how them training camp practices was being ran when it happened. That's why you need to hit that subscribe button, because now you're hearing everybody on the radio in the local media start to question. Man, y'all 2 months too late, and y'all was there way more than I was. Y'all wasn't questioning it then. I don't know what you were doing. I don't know what you were looking at. And I get it. I know that we were caught up in the honeymoon phase, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't even want to talk about bring it up and be too harsh about how training camp was ran over the course of, the couple of days that I was out there, because I'm like, it worked last year. It was the little engine that could last year, but it looked, as I said, it looked like it might be the exact opposite this year. Shout out to my man Joy's all like, nah, bro, you said that, bro, because I did say that. Bro, I ain't heard one bata this year. I ain't heard one bata. That's how I know Frankie Louisville not with us right now. I think he alive, but I think he in somebody's basement or somebody's attic right now. I think a Philadelphia Eagle fan might have Frankie Louvu. I don't know what it is. Y'all know he was mad as shit. The Eagles fans was mad as shit when he was trying to stop the tush push. They wanted his head on a pitchfork. I think they might have got him, y'all. I think they might have got him because this ain't the Oos I know. I feel like what's hurting Senna not getting on the field is Ertz because they love him and trust him, and it's helping him for his development and watching and learning from him. I don't necessarily disagree with you, Orlando. The only thing I disagree with is that narrative that's being pushed out now as an excuse for why he's not getting out on the field is because he's Zach Ertz's one-to-one replacement. That was not what he was presented to us as. That was not what he was as a prospect coming out of Kansas State. So we not about to act like, even though Zach Ertz is balling, we not about to act like Zach Ertz is the guy that's keeping Ben Sinnott off the field. If Ben Sinnott was capable of making plays, Ben Sinnott would be on the field. If y'all was watching that all 22, yeah, Zach, and it sounds harsh, or it sounds like I might be tripping because he did end up as our leading receiver. Those plays where Zach Ertz didn't get the ball thrown to him, I'm convinced he had Velcro. I don't know who had on more Velcro on their jerseys, Noah Brown or Zach Ertz. With Terry McLaurin coming a close third. With y'all beloved Terry McLaurin coming a close third. And I didn't know that we were going to be 51 minutes into this stream without me bringing up y'all's idol, y'all's big dog, the man y'all want to marry y'all daughters, little sisters, whoever, Terry McLaurin, the one that y'all get offended about whenever I make any observation about him. Let me ask y'all a question. And I tweeted it the other day. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. Because I think I put it so eloquently. I don't even think that I can say it better than how I said it then. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see, because I got a question for y'all. I got a question. Damn, right? How I get to my page, right? God damn. I got a question for y'all. I really do. Where is it at? Because at this point, while I said I don't love running victory laps, y'all make me have to when y'all do shit like this. When y'all get mad when I say that nobody against the Green Bay Packers on Thursday night were getting open, y'all take that as a Terry McLaurin shot. I didn't initially say that Terry McLaurin wasn't getting open, but Terry McLaurin is included in that nobody. And then you make me have to prove it and pull up separation numbers and things like that, which I don't like to do because I know what I'm seeing with my own two eyes. And I know that I'm not seeing that with the burgundy and gold lenses that some of y'all might be seeing it with, right? God damn, where's that joint at? I gotta find it. Give me 1 second. We're gonna find it. But I got a question. Because at this point, y'all gonna make me have to run this victory lap. God, I be tweeting up a goddamn storm. Why y'all don't tell me I be tweeting too much, bro? Like, do I have a life? Why y'all ain't tell me I tweet this goddamn much? Matter of fact, I know how to find it. Because we had some rather we had some rather colorful language in the tweet. But I'm going to go ahead and ask it. How long for all the Terry McLaurin truthers, how long are we going to go with him having this lack of production? And when are we going to start the questioning? There it is. For the busted open for 17 crowd, how many weeks are you willing to give him the benefit of the doubt with the lack of production? Because once I asked this question a couple of days ago, everybody wanted to remind me that he had an even slower start last year. But you want to know why that's not an apples to apples comparison? Y'all let me know. Because I might have missed something. I might have been in a coma the way that y'all keep spewing and regurgitating the same shit. Did Terry McLaurin miss an entire training camp last year? And these are the type of excuses and justifications that we try to run with to excuse our beloved Terry McLaurin. I love Terry McLaurin as much as the next man, y'all. That don't mean that he a top 5 receiver. That does not mean that he was open on Thursday night because you love him. Despite the 2 screenshots where he might have been. Do y'all realize that it's not helping your case that you can only find 2 screenshots of Jayden Daniels missing an open Terry McLaurin out of an entire game? But then y'all want to use this as cold hard facts. And that's why I call y'all the busted open for 17 high. Yeah, Terry McLaurin I wanted him, he's earned his money. He's earned being paid like a top flight wide receiver. Now I got to go. I now need him to go justify that money, bro. Because what he got? 75 yards in 2 games? That ain't it. That ain't it. And yes, I'm gonna want you to do more than you did last season because you didn't sign a $30 million a year contract last year. It is not apples to apples. Get out your feelings for me saying this. Shout out my man Charles. Y'all heard the man. Go ahead, smash that like button for the boy. Smash the like button for the boy. I think I'm gonna be in here for what? Well, we about 56 minutes in. I got about another 15 minutes in me. I got another 15 minutes in me. Let's see what the chat talking about. But I do want y'all to answer my question. And just ignore the first part if you're not a part of the Busted Open for 17 crowd. But I know somebody in here watching this stream right now that is. How many weeks? And this is just a talking point. I didn't say, oh, Terry got to do this by week 5. I asked a question. How many weeks are you willing to give the benefit of the doubt to Terry McLaurin if he continues with this lack of production? I really just want to know. Jalen, do you think it's because we have bigger stars on the defense, having a Von Miller in the locker room may intimidate him possibly? You talking about Joe Witt and DQ? I don't know if it's intimidating him, but I think that they might be, for lack of better terms or lack of better wording, walking on eggshells as far as like not trying to tick them off with too many hard practice days, too many hard training camp sessions and things like that, because they know them old guys get that straight, get off my yard mentality at a certain point. And when you lose them and their willingness to play for you, and what they say about Dan Quinn, everybody that signs, oh, I heard that Dan Quinn was a player's coach, even though I never met him. I've heard it through the grapevine. So I think that he doesn't want to stray too far away from that image and make it seem like he's not true to himself or what he's been. But to be 100% honest, you got to adjust as the season goes on, bro. So I don't know if it's intimidation because honestly, even though they're a little long in the tooth, when I see a guy like Von Miller, I'm going to try to dial up the most intricate pass rush scheme because I know that he might not have the juice that he had back in the day where he's winning one-on-ones all the time. But he does have a quick first step where I can take advantage of it with a stunt, with a gain or something like that. And we just didn't see that on Thursday. We were trying to send 4 and rush 4 like we got the fucking Philadelphia Eagles 2024 defensive line. Like, I don't know. I don't know. George, I don't know what you're talking about with Washington. Jordan Love loves to put the ball in danger. Washington never forced them to do it. If they can't get a turnover against Geno Smith this Sunday, then this defense really is some shit. I said it when I was watching the game live. For a defense and a coaching staff that pushes or preaches out creating turnovers, and I ain't even going to say preaches out because you saw their defenses in Dallas lead the league in interceptions for 3 straight years. They weren't capable of making a play on the ball Thursday night because they weren't anywhere near a receiver when they caught the pass. So a lot of that is scheme, and a lot of that has to do with Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur take them boys behind the woodshed every time. Matt LaFleur take them boys behind the woodshed every time, and it's just really unfair. It's really not fair for my TO shit. But like they pick on them. They pick on them. And I don't know why the hell I took Washington's money line when I look back at it. Matt LaFleur is 5-0 against Dan Quinn. There's a reason why. So I know I go at some of y'all for wearing y'all burgundy and gold tinted lenses every day, but I had my burgundy and gold tinted lenses on when I picked Washington money line the other day. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Oh, we got a super. We got a super. So you know my man got to jump the line. You know my man got to jump the line. Shout out to my man Kevo. What Kevo guy say? What Kevo guy say? Geno and Genty look like shit Monday night. Perfect game to play Mariota. If the NFL draft was tomorrow, that would be the number 1 pick. What would be the number 1 position you would target? All right, let's start with Geno and Genty. Geno looked like garbage juice the other day. He looked like hot dog water. So I agree with you 100%. But I don't know if you watched the game, Kevo. I don't know if you just saw the box score. I don't know if we were playing fantasy. But I'll say this. I watched the first 3 quarters before I dozed off because the NFL is fucking terrorists for starting an NFL game at 10 o'clock. Guess what? We got 3 more of those. They running 4 doubleheaders this year. They might have to fucking fight me. They don't care about me having work the next day. But enough about my spiel. If you watch that game, yeah, I know that Anderson Genty's averaging like 2.7 yards a carry over the course of the first 2 weeks, but he's so close, bro. He's so close. And I wasn't even the highest on Ashton Genty as a prospect. If you follow the page, you know I thought that there wasn't that much of a gap between Omari and Hampton and Ashton Genty. I gave Ashton Genty the slight edge because I think he got a little more wiggle, even though I don't think he has elite wiggle. Ashton Genty is close. It's close. And y'all know back in the day, in the mid 2010s, mid 2010s, maybe 2023, we were the get right defense. Like teams would use us to get right against. And while I said that it's not an indictment on his tenure here for DQ, but Thursday night against the Packers gave me some remnants of a Ron Rivera era loss. If I see Geno Smith and Ashton Genty start to get right against our defense like we used to be treated, like that thought behind the building, bro, that everybody ran through. If I see that happen, I'm like, oh yeah, this season might be the shits, bro. This season might be the shits, bro. And even if it does, I ain't going to compare DQ to Ron Rivera just yet because Ron Rivera gave us multiple seasons like that. He gave us multiple seasons like that, but this might be one of them. This might be the first one for Dan Quinn. I'm tired of these old dudes on our team. I love them, but we got to get younger. Last week was awful. Yes. I don't know if you guys been in here since the beginning of the stream. I think the biggest takeaway that I took away from the game last week is that, yeah, there might be a little bit of a talent gap between us and the Green Bay Packers. But the biggest thing is that we are not a team that's capable of playing on a short week. Now, thank God that you don't have to play on too many short weeks in the playoffs and let you play on that first Monday night of wild card weekend. But this old ass roster, it reared its ugly head on Thursday night. We had guys moving in mud. And I think the biggest example of it is when you see Edgerrin Cooper and Quay Walker, the linebackers for the Green Bay Packers, boxing Jayden Daniels in, making him look human as a runner. I think even when he struggled against the Philadelphia Eagles, he still had those flash moments where I was like, oh yeah, he's still faster than everybody on the field. Jayden Daniels didn't look like the fastest on the field last week before the knee injury. He was getting boxed in. And when you see those linebackers and then you see a Michael Parsons running a fucking 4-3 looking like fucking hound dogs, and then you turn and watch your defense, and then you see Frankie Louver and Bobby Wagner look like they need walkers out there. I need to go buy some tennis balls for their walkers so that they ain't dragging it all over the place, fucking up my floors. When you see that, you realize it's levels. When you see that, you realize it's levels. Because guess what? Bobby Wagner was running around like that in 2016. That was 9 years ago, 10 seasons ago. And we needed that Ravens practice. We should have ducked that smoke. Did we duck the smoke? Is it clarified that we ducked the smoke? I agree with you that we needed the practice. But I thought when it first came out, I thought I heard that the Ravens was the ones that ducked that smoke. Is it true that we ducked that smoke? Because if we did, that's an even worse look. How would you defend Brock Bowers? Hope that his knee is still fucked up. Now, I wish no injury to players, but I think that's your biggest answer. I think that's your best case scenario. Brock Bowers finally looked human for the first time in his NFL career the other night against the Los Angeles Chargers. And that was him coming off of the injury report or being, doubted to play over the course of the entire week. That's why I thought that there might have been a little chess game being played with Jayden Daniels before Rap said, expect Washington to lean on the air caution. Jayden Daniels not playing this week, y'all. Rap not just saying that for no reason. But the best way to defend Brock Bowers is to hope that knee is still fucked up. And I'm dead serious. I don't know if you come for some legit analysis. I don't think we have anybody on the roster that can defend a healthy Brock Bowers. And that's not a shot. There's not too many people in the NFL that can defend a healthy Brock Bowers by himself. I think he had the greatest rookie tight end year in NFL history, to be 100% honest with you. And then he did the same thing in week 1. Now, week 2 against the Los Angeles Chargers, he's damn near playing on one leg. So the best way to defend Brock Bowers is to just hope that he's tight. He's stiff. He can't go. And even if he does, just hope that he's not 100%. Them boys was not getting no type of. They wasn't. And guess what? You know what? I'm mad at you for saying that, Orlando. And it's not because you lying. It's not because you're not telling the truth. Let me vent real quick. I'm mad at you for saying that because you're allowed to say that, and people take that as an honest observation. I don't know what it's been. I don't know if people think I be trying to engagement bait, even though everything that I've said about the Terry McLaurin contract situation ended up true. I still have yet to hear people apologize as loud as their disrespect was about that. Even though everything I said about that situation ended up true. I'm mad because you're allowed to say that and people look at that as an honest observation because you said nobody was getting open. When I say that, the exact same thing, people think that I'm taking a shot at Terry McLaurin. Come on, bro. I guess that's the price that you have to pay when you're giving the most raw and uncut and unfiltered analysis on your Washington Commanders. Let's see what else. But yeah, nobody was getting open. But they not in my mentions talking about, but Jalen Lane was open though. They not in my mentions talking about that. They talking about 17. Cashew. If y'all don't know why I call him Cashew, go watch the Proud Family movie. Good, man. Love the channel. Me and my man just caught the bro, I'm about to see you in Spain. We got to eat some tapas together, bro. I'm spending my 30th birthday out there. We got to eat some tapas together, bro. Hit me up when we out there, bro. I just got some recommendations today. I'm staying until Tuesday. You know, I got splurged for the birthday a little bit. I'm staying until Tuesday, and somebody just told me I need to go to a club named Monday on a Monday. They told me I need to hit up the club named Monday on a Monday around 1:30. I just got that recommendation like an hour ago. So if you in the chat, we got 215 people watching this stream right now through the various platforms, YouTube, Twitch, and X. If you're in the chat, y'all let me, what y'all know about Monday? Somebody say, hey, bro, you looking to go out with a bang? Go to Monday on a Monday. I said, all right, bet. Say less. Anybody know about Monday in Madrid? They giving me, they selling me false advertising. They selling me false dreams. Thank you for answering the question, Kevin. Terry loves slow starts. We'll all fall back in all around week 9. So, Kevin, are you saying that if we don't? So I got a couple people to answer the question. Are you saying what if we don't get back into the flow of things? Because that has happened with wide receivers that have holdouts. That first year coming back from a holdout, it isn't always the best year. What if we don't? What if we continue that lack of production by week 9? When will you start to question? I'm just asking the question. When will you start to question? I'm gonna start calling him TM until he starts feeling like he robbed us a fairy tale start to the season. Man. I'm saying, bro. I'm saying people talk about how Jayden overthrew him against the New York Giants. Yeah, that was an overthrow by Jayden Daniels. It was. But you don't think that a little chemistry, a little more hours put in on the grass with Terry McLaurin would have helped that timing? You shitting yourselves. You fooling yourselves. He probably ain't know Terry McLaurin's going to run that fucking double move because Terry McLaurin don't really run double moves. That was one of his biggest flaws in this game until last year. I seen Terry McLaurin run more double moves last year than he did his entire 5 seasons before that. So he like, oh, nigga, I ain't never seen you act like this before. What are we doing? Terry McLaurin breakout this week because you right about this running game struggling without Bates. Yeah, I hope so. The Raiders got me out there starting at cornerback. I don't know why they gave up Jacorian Bennett. He asked too, though. Terry McLaurin isn't Justin Jefferson. Let me run down to the Justin Jefferson tree and pick one to replace Terry. I don't know if that's sarcasm because there aren't too many Justin Jeffersons going around. I don't know if that's sarcasm, but I'm going to take it as sarcasm. I just need Terry McLaurin to be a top 10 wide receiver like he's paid. I don't need him to be Justin Jefferson, one of the 2 best wide receivers in the league. I don't need – y'all see how they get? Y'all see how they get about their Lord and Savior 17? When did I ever compare 17 to Justin Jefferson? But guess what? When you're making $30 million a year, like Terry McLaurin and Justin Jefferson, you're paid to beat double teams. So I don't want to hear how he's double teamed every game, even though he's not. Even though he's not. I don't pay that good old money for that all 22 for y'all to be lying in my face. Y'all see how they get about 17. No, Washington didn't duck the Ravens. Yeah. It was Washington's facilities can't host an agent. That sounds a little ducking to me, George. I ain't gonna lie to you. I didn't think that they ducked at first. But if that was the justification that they gave us, that sounded a little duckish to me. Because they had the same facility when they set up they set up that scrimmage. They had those same facilities when they set up the scrimmage, but they lost space. They lost space a week before they was set to come. Genty might torch us. I hope not. I hope not. I'm just saying that if we not the get right game, Ashton Genty's gonna break out soon because he's so close. That offensive line ain't the greatest, but there were so many runs the other day where, like, yeah, he's getting tackled by Derwin James, and he was falling forward against Derwin James. There ain't too many safeties that can tackle as well as Derwin James. Newsflash. Wicks. Bro, I don't know what you about to say about Wicks. I don't know what you was trying to say about Wicks, but Wicks gave me PTSD, bro. Or that name, seeing that name gave me PTSD. Dontavian Wicks is one wide receiver drafted by the Green Bay Packers away from being put back into the UFL, if he ever came from there. I watch a lot of football. I ain't heard about Dontavian Wicks until like week 16 last year. I swear he's an NPC, bro. But you know what he was the other day? He looked like a wide receiver one going against Marshawn Lattimore. My fault. I'm just talking. Nah, I'm mad that we didn't get that bird as well, Cam. My man. Wicks and Heath was making. Bro. You know why you calling them by their last name? Because you don't even know their first name. You might, but most people don't. I still don't know Heath's first name. Was it Malik? It don't matter. Marshawn Lattimore out here with a $16 million hit to the cap, getting cooked by special team gunners, bro. $16 million hit to the cap, getting cooked by special team gunners. I don't want to hear about a hamstring. I don't want to hear about being healthy. I need you to make a play against a special team gunner on third down to get us off the field. I'm sorry. Is that me asking for too much? Bro, they was frying us. Question to the chat and the Jaylen. With the first 2 games completed, do we still feel confident? Yeah, I do still feel confident if 5 is healthy. I hate to answer that with a caveat, with an asterisk, with a disclaimer, but I do still feel healthy if 5. I mean, I do still feel confident if 5 is healthy. If he's only set to miss this game and he plays in the other, what you have, 14 games after that, 13 games after that, no, 14 games after that. If he plays in the other 14 games after that, I still feel confident because you're not going to play, 4 or 5 more short weeks. Or are we? That's short of a week. You don't play on Thursday night 4 or 5 more times. I think we might be able to bounce back from a Monday to a Sunday, but going from a Sunday to a Thursday, that's this team's kryptonite. They long in the tooth. They old as hell. Jaylen, we can start the questions at any time. There's no quick fix next all season. I agree, Kat. I don't disagree at all. I was just wondering because, and you might not see it, Kevin, but the people in the chat, they know what I'm talking about. I can't say anything about a Washington wide receiver without anybody thinking I'm taking a shot at 17. So that's why I posed the question. You 100% right. We got to ask that question last week. You 100% right. I was just wondering, when is it going to get to the point where it's just clear delusion if he doesn't keep up the lack of separation? I agree that I think that number 1 wide receiver is a priority. I think that you can put that up there with an edge rusher. And those two positions are some of the hardest to get elite talents at. Not necessarily the wide receiver, but the edge position. So I think I might peg that one, pause, with the wide receiver, a top tier wide receiver being number 2. Because even if he's making $30 million like he is next year, you're not going to want to have Terry McLaurin be the lifeline of your offense as the number 1 wide receiver. It's a reason why these guys are meant to transition out of their roles and to give the younger guys shine and things like that. That's the life cycle of an NFL roster. So while we love Terry, and I love Terry, contrary to what many of y'all believe, I don't want Terry McLaurin to be my number 1 wide receiver at the ripe old age of 32. Y'all let me know how many successful teams there's been where that number 1 receiver was 32 plus. Outside of what fucking Jerry Rice. And the 49ers win Super Bowls when Jerry Rice was 32. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. I know Antonio Brown was what, 31, 32 with the Bucs. But I'd argue he wasn't even a wide receiver 1 with the Bucs. I think Mike Evans was, but Terry McLaurin ain't no Antonio Brown. And if somebody come in that chat and tell me that right now, we're going to end this stream. Lastly, but not leastly, before we get on out of here, let's go ahead and make this parlay. Let's go ahead and make this lay for the people. Shout out to Roy Warrior for the people. We got to make this lay for the people. We 1-2. We 1-2. As always, y'all know I'm a degenerate gambler. I have my own betting service at Stunners Pick on Instagram. We got our own Discord. I gave you a banger of a parlay the first week. I know the one last week ain't hit because I had Jayden Daniels going over rushing and passing yards. The fuck was I thinking? So let's make a lay for Sunday's game. What y'all like in the chat? I know some of y'all degenerates. Y'all done already looked at lines. Y'all done already looked at props. What y'all like in the chat? Here we go with the dial up. Bro, I promise you I paid my Wi-Fi bill this month. I promise you I did. They might not get another dime out of me moving this fucking slow though. But what we liking this week? Any lays we like? Let me go ahead and pull it up on my phone while this shit doing some dumb shit. Let's see. So we just gonna keep lowing all night. We gonna look like the Washington Commanders offense and just load all night and never get to our destination. Okay. All right, I respect it. A little disrespectful, but All right, I got it on my phone. Whenever it pulls up online, we'll pull it up. But our Washington Commanders have moved. The line has moved. Our Washington Commanders were 6-point favorites prior to the Jayden Daniels injury news. And that line has now moved to a 3-point favorite. Let me pull it up now that it's on the screen. Verizon must have seen me pick up my phone and was trying to avoid another tongue lashing. My favorite thing to do is cuss out customer service people when they're not doing me right. Because, bro, I'm paying money. Y'all not about to disrespect me. Y'all not about to short sight me, and I'm paying money for your service, bro. Nah, we're not doing that. That's my favorite time to be Karen. I'll be a straight Kenny. All right, bet. Good leg. All right, Washington are 3-point favorites. Let's look at some of these props. They probably don't have a lot of props. Yeah, they ain't got no props, y'all. They ain't got no props. They try to figure out if Jayden Daniels is playing. They ain't got no props. So you know what? As all degenerates do, we're gonna make a lay. We're gonna do a ticket based off of the options that they give us. Fuck it. Thursday night for Christmas against Dallas. Thursday night. Christmas on Thursday or the Thursday before Christmas? And is that a Thursday after we play on a Sunday? God damn. Well, we might need to chalk that up as an L. Not even gonna lie to you, Charles. And I hate for that to be against the Dallas Cowboys, but this team can't play in a short week. Dallas might be battling for the basement at that point. Let's hope they are. Let's hope they are. But even when Dallas was battling for the basement last year, they gave us all that we can handle. Is there any free agency we may need to replace Lattimore? Are there any free agency B's? Over what book got props on Terry McLaurin? What book got props on Terry McLaurin? A Sunday to we play on Saturday. A Sunday to a Saturday, I don't consider that too short of a week. But a Sunday to a Thursday, for sure. And a Thursday to they don't play Thursdays to Sundays. We just can't play on Thursday night, bro. So we play the Eagles the Saturday before Christmas. And then Christmas on the Thursday. So that's 5 days of rest. I mean, that's better than a Sunday to Thursday. But yeah, Dallas might give us the belt. Team old as fuck. So on top of being old, you know, all of them old ass niggas, they got families that they got to attend to during the holiday season. They're going to be eating fruitcake and all that other shit. On top of them being old, they're going to be having fucking holiday guts. Y'all know y'all watching the chat. Get them holiday guts. Yeah, yeah. And you know the food stick to old niggas much longer than they do young niggas. So the Marion Overshown, that's what nigga might have 15 tackles that day. I ain't even gonna lie to you. All right, let's make a bullshit lay. I'm only doing this because I said I'm gonna make a lay every stream, but we're gonna put an asterisk beside this lay because we don't have any player props. I'm gonna have my Commanders covering in 3 because if they don't, I'm fucking crashing out. I'm not content with a 2-point win or 1-point win, even with Marcus Mariota. So with that being said, we just going to double it down. Matter of fact, nah, let's get freaky. Let's get freaky. We're going to ladder because remember, I tried to give you a plus 1,000 ticket so we can turn that $10 on your lay to $100 at least. We're going to ladder Commanders minus 6.5. I told you I'm a degenerate. We need these odds. We're going to ladder Commanders minus 6.5. And I'm also doing this because it ain't that much to bet from. We're going to ladder Commanders first quarter spread. We're going to ladder Commanders first half spread. That shit only go to 2. I don't know if I can get a plus 1,000, y'all. Can we alternate? Oh, all right, bet. Oh, I can't do it for same game parlay, though. That defense is going to hold the Raiders. No, the Raiders getting over 10 points in the first half. I'm lying like shit. The Raiders getting over 10 points in the first half. But guess what? The Commanders are too. So where's the Commanders' first half total points? The Commanders, we getting 13 in the first half? Yeah. And you know they expecting this game to be a little low scoring. Geno throwing hella picks. Marcus Mariota as our quarterback. This how you finesse Vegas. Because guess what? Since both teams are going over in the first half, right? They got to go over for the game. They got to go. There we go. Plus 1150. Them the numbers that I like. We're going to turn that $10 into $150. Oh, no, $115. I'm tripping. We're going to turn that $10 into $115 with this lay. Y'all go ahead and play it if you want. 1-1. We had to get a little freaky with this lay because there is no available player props. I might post on the community, post on the channel a lay once the player props get available to the public. So go ahead, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. You don't miss the post with the actual. This is the actual lay. We're going to make 2 lays because I feel confident in this. We're going to ladder Washington Commanders minus 6.5 for the game. So that means they win by at least a touchdown. We're going to We're going to take the Commanders minus 1.5 in the first quarter. So they got to be winning by more than 2 in the first quarter. We're going to ladder them minus 2.5 in the first half. So we got to be up by at least 3. The Raiders are scoring. The Raiders are definitely scoring more than 10 points in the first half. But we're going to score 14. We're going to score 14. So all of this shit hit and it all culminates into an over 44.5 points over total points for the match. How we feeling about this leg? Whoever the fourth stringer, bro. Who's the fourth string? Trey Tucker. Trey Tucker career game. That might be on the actual leg because there's always some random wide receiver that's going to go off against Washington. Death, taxes, Commander fans blaming Terry McLaurin's lack of production on the offensive coordinator, and wide receivers and tight ends getting right against Washington defense. I was about to say Washington Commanders, but it don't matter if you was a Washington Commander, football team, or Redskin. If you have a pass catcher that's struggling, have him go against the Washington defense. They'll get you right. That'll do it for this stream, man. As always, smash that subscribe button, smash that like button. Don't comment anymore because I'm about to head out of here and I won't reply to them. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in to our third edition of Commanders Caucus. As I say, tell a friend to come join us next week. I expect it to be a more joyous occasion. You know, we had a little remnants of wine about it Wednesday today. I had to come in here and get some shit off my chest, vent. You know, but guess what? That's why this is a therapy session. That's why we're doing this every Wednesday, no matter win or loss, rain or shine, because it was raining cats and dogs out here in the DMV today. We're going to be here because y'all my therapists. I'm too broke to pay for one. That's why y'all got to hit that subscribe button and, you know, flood the supers in the chat. Because until I'm able to pay for one, y'all my therapy session, y'all my therapist. We ain't on the little couch. We on the white and black gaming shit. But I appreciate y'all tuning into this stream. Let's go get this dub, man. 1-1 move. As I said before, y'all see I'm a degenerate gambler. I know some of y'all are degenerate gamblers. Y'all might need to call that hotline shit. I've done it. I ain't above it. But, you know, we done lost a lot of money to Vegas. But the move for this week is Vegas got to pay. I might not win no real money. I might not win all my money back that Vegas is taking from me. But I need my Commanders to get that shit back in blood. And hopefully they can, even with or without Jayden Daniels. I'll check in on y'all on the flip side. I appreciate y'all tuning into the stream. As always, flood that comment section. Not now, but on my next video. Hit that subscribe button so you're not missing that next video. And hit that like button so that the people that didn't watch this video will see this video in their algorithm when they get a chance to tune in. I'll check in on y'all on the flip side. Peace.